Coach, thanks for joining us, and we're ready for an opening statement when you are.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the guys finding a way to win, and a hard-fought game, and ECU played really hard. I love the way that defense battled there at the end. It's great to have a goal line stand like that to win a football game. And being 1-0 with a lot of things that we can get better at, it's a good place to be. I was really excited about how we started fast, and penalties really derailed a lot of drives on offense. We've had some bonehead penalties and false starts, different things like that. I thought we protected the ball well. We didn't fumble the football all night. We had some explosive plays, throwing the ball down the field. Guys made contact catches. Wesley and Teddy, obviously. Our backs ran hard. Defensively, we held them to 30 yards rushing or 29-yard rushing or something like that. And it was a good win, really good win. And so proud of the guys. And at the same time, though, there's a lot of things that we can do better. I'm very thankful for the fans. It was an awesome night. You guys were incredible. Crowd noise was amazing. Student section was awesome. That's what we need to have every home game. And Thursday nights are always special in the Carter. Man, I thank you for what you gave us tonight. That was a major, major advantage, particularly at the end of the game when we needed you on defense.
Questions for Coach? Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. On the fourth down play, what did you see? What did you think they would go to? Obviously, you'd stop them running the ball. Did you get a sense they would try some kind of pass, some kind of quick pass?
Well, I thought it would either be a repeat of their speed option, which they scored on earlier in a similar situation, or what they ran, the naked crack screen that they ran on us last year in the bowl game as well. So I didn't expect them to try to run the ball up the middle. I thought it'd be something off the edges. Defense did a great job, crack replacing, and Coach Elliott prepared them well for that play. We practiced that play throughout the week, played just like that. I think we ran it 4 or 5 times in the red zone, and kids executed. Corner came up, big solid tackle on a tight end. So I was proud of those guys on defense. They had a couple of fourth down stops in the game that were big.
Rob, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I have a two-parter. First of all, your edge players, Sloan and Harsh, they were obviously later transfers. Just speak to the impact you thought they had on this game this evening.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to be better off the edge. We wanted to create more tackles for loss this year, more sacks, and not have to blitz all the time to create those things. We wanted to be able to do it with 4 or 5 guys. And so there was a huge emphasis in finding some edge players, and Kean Sloan, Kenny that you mentioned, Trey Thomas. We got some good snaps out of several players. Chase Bond got in the game, made some plays in the backfield. It was good to see him, and he's been super consistent. So the edge of the defense, really the old scheme we had was more 4 eyes, which is DNs playing inside the tackles. We wanted to have guys that could play outside and play in space and give us pass rush. And so that was a huge emphasis by the staff and recruiting, and it obviously paid off.
And my second question, sir, obviously you guys, as you mentioned, got off to the hot start. There's 2 ways of looking at it. You talk about that hot start and getting the win, an important win, but at the same time, you probably would have wanted a little more offense, a little more separation there in the second half. Just speak to that, and where's the mindset going into Virginia next week?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to get better at. I thought we stalled out in the red zone several times with penalties and tackles for losses. We went backwards. We'd have an explosive play to get down there, and then all of a sudden we'd be going backwards, and so a lot to improve on offense. A lot of good things on offense, but our goal is to score 31 or more. That's our goal. And so we were a touchdown short of our goal in this game, and we had 2 missed field goals, which hurt us, and so that's an area we got to get better as well.
Noah, go ahead.
Yeah, Wesley had a career night, a first 100-yard game in college. What was it like seeing him do that? But also, he talked about being more confident this year. Have you been able to see that confidence rise in him this year?
I'm proud of Wesley. He missed a lot of training camp. He had a lot of nagging things bothering him, and really got full speed kind of towards the end of this week. And he's top 3 fastest players on our team. And so we need him to be an explosive guy and make senior type plays. And he did that tonight. He was tonight exactly who I was hoping we'd see. And I'm super proud of him for stepping up and helping the offense be explosive, you know, because if he's like that and Noah's like that and Teddy's like that, Terrell, Keenan, and then you have Jolie and then you have Hollywood, we got a lot of different people we can take advantage of in space and get matchups. And so it's a good start, and it helps when your fastest guy is making plays, because as you saw with their team, you know, number 9 for them is a fast kid, and you got to know where they're at on defense. And it helps a lot that Wesley came out like that. Now he's just got to be consistent.
Jaden, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned having multiple playmakers. How important was having that tonight to get this win?
Yeah, I mean, it was a team win. It really was. And I thought offensively jumped out 17-0, got us a lead. Defensively, I think they had minus 20 yards rushing in the first half. You know, it was very stingy. Both sides of the football helped each other throughout the night, and they faked a punt. Defense came right back after a 3-and-out. They fake a punt, comes right back out, stops them again. We had 3 4th-down stops looking at the stats here. So it was definitely a complimentary win. Having playmakers helps, to answer your question, but I really look at this as more of a team win.
JC, go ahead.
You guys were able to start out fast on defense, especially in the first quarter. How hard is that to do when you were working in so many new starters and had Brandon Cleveland sitting out in the first half?
Yeah, no, I think it says a lot about the preparation that Coach Elliott and his staff did with the guys. Says a lot about the kids understanding the rules and how to adjust them, because you're going to see things you don't practice in the first few games. I thought we tackled really well in this game, and that was impressive. You know, you always worry about tackling, especially against an up-tempo spread. I mean, they were putting 2 of their receivers almost out of bounds on some of the plays to try to create space on the field. And so that's a key part of denying explosive plays, is your ability to tackle in space. And when you can't run the football on offense, it's tough. You know, it's tough. They did a good job finding their tight end, getting him involved in the second half. He hurt us. But it was a really well executed game plan. The kids understand it. They adjusted well. I was very proud of what they did.
Charlie, go ahead.
Coach, you mentioned early in the offseason kind of how bad you wanted this game, considering how things ended last December. Does this game mean more to you coming on the right side of the scoreboard this time around?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like we tarnished our reputation. It was a game that really hurt me, seeing the way our guys couldn't stop the run, 300 yards rushing. I mean, it's an embarrassing thing as a head coach that considers himself a guy that knows how to play defense. And then having the actions that we did afterwards, it was embarrassing. And this game wasn't about ECU. This game was about us playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, and respecting the game, respecting each other, respecting the university that we play for, our fans, the guys in the locker room, the guys that have worn the jersey, respecting Coach Ruff, you know, a guy that means a lot to our program, and, you know, means a lot. And so this game was about getting our identity back and playing hard, tough together football.
All right, 2 more questions for Coach. TJ, go ahead.
Coach, looking at CJ Bailey in one game into the season and looking at him from last year, what's a major difference you've instantly seen in his game?
He's just very poised. He's got a lot of confidence. He sees the game. It's slowing down for him. He trusts his guys. He has chemistry with his guys. You know, last year coming off the bench as a backup and not knowing if you're even going to play as a true freshman, you don't have that chemistry, not only with your skill guys, but the O-line. Those guys play hard for him, and he can get after them, and they respect him. And so he's a true leader. And last year he was more of a survivor, just in there fighting as hard as he could fight. But he didn't have the guys around him like he does now, pulling hard for him and wanting to protect him.
Coach, one more question from me. When you're in a situation where ECU in the red zone, under 40 seconds left, that 4th down stop, how do you prep your team for pressure moments like that?
Chaos. Yeah, I mean, we train in chaos. We try to put them in tough situations. We did it all through training camp. Coach Thunder and his staff put them in tough situations all summer. And then it comes down to having leaders on your team, you know, that they're not going to let it happen. They're going to execute and they're prepared. And in pressure situations, you always revert back to your training. And we trained them well. And the kids did a tremendous job of standing up, bowing up, and not letting them get a first down right there.
All right, David, go ahead with the last question for Coach.
Yeah, Dave, you talked about getting your identity back, respecting the game, playing the game the way it's supposed to. What moments tonight stood out to you where you felt like your team did that?
Well, I mean, stopping them on 4th down 3 times, goal line stand for sure. I think just the poise the guys had as ECU started creeping back in the game. There was no panic. There was nothing. The guys just kept playing and finding a way to win. It was never a moment in the game where you felt like anybody on the sideline didn't believe that we were going to win the football game. They were all locked in. There's a much different feel on that sideline than we had on our sideline a year ago. And just the way that they prepared, like this team they're so able to take constructive criticism. They want to be better football players and better men. They know that we love them and we're coming from the right place. And they take it, they listen, and they work hard. And it paid off tonight. You know, I mean, that's a game, if you go back over the last 35 times it's played, it's usually a close game. And no different tonight. Even though we had a chance to not make it that way, that's how a lot of these games have ended.
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody.